Barbs Tea Service, and we are back at Orion on TV Studios for our 21st podcast.
21st. 21st?
Blackjack.
Wow. Or they can go to a bar. There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm here with studio engineer, Arm Candy co-host, Chris Gully.
Hello.
Hi there.
I'm glad to be here.
Great. I'm glad you're here too.
Right. See, it all works out.
It all works out.
All right.
So we're back after a brief but amazing hiatus.
There was.
We were in New York for an amazing event. The wedding of our favorite New York couple, a.k.a. our son and daughter-in-law, Matt and Jenna.
Yes.
And it was great. So we went for the ceremony. We went out to dinner. And then we also, that was the highlight,
Right.
of course. But we also included a little bit of tea time. And we saw a musical.
Yes.
That was at the Brooklyn Academy of Music involving time travel.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So, we'll chat a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But this latest tea room visit, it prompted us to think a little bit more about the tea sandwich.
The bottom tray that holds everything up.
Right.
Such an important job.
Such an important job, but it's kind of the unsung hero
Right.
of the afternoon tea. We have scones,
Mm-hmm.
which are the quintessential afternoon tea staple. We even have instructions on how to eat it properly.
Yes.
It's so much importance. Then, of course, the much anticipated dessert tray, the grand finale.
The sugar rush.
It is the sugar rush. But I thought this time we could focus a little bit on the tea sandwich. And if we have time, we'll do a little recap on the New York tea rooms we've been to and those that are on our wish list.
Okay.
All right?
Can't wait.
But first, tea. Okay, so today we're having Harney's wedding tea. And I'm going to show this to the camera. Can
Okay.
you see that?
Yeah, very nice. Okay.
Yeah, isn't that pretty? So this is a tea from Harney's, and you have the option to personalize it, which we did.
They loved it.
They did love it. And this is our little souvenir from the wedding weekend. But this is a very special tea from Harney and Sons.
Yes.
And we've talked about Harney before.
We have.
The Harney Teas was started by John Harney, and his sons now co-run the business. And we've met Mike. Mike has come to Detroit a few times.
Yeah, he's been at the Townsend, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And a really nice,
Right.
laid-back guy.
Right.
So they have this tea that I mentioned, and it's a white tea. It's called Mouton white tea. Okay. So Mike does a lot of the traveling for Harney Teas, and he picks up this tea in Fujian, the Fujian province of China.
Okay. And where would that be?
Well, I think everybody has kind of a rough idea of where Shanghai is.
Right.
So you go a little over 500 miles south,
Okay.
a little to the west.
Yep.
That's where the Fujian province
So
is.
South China.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. It's my roundabout way.
There you go.
Okay. So what's interesting, though, about this Mouton white China is that it is in the same region that we get the the silver needles white tea.
Yes, that's right.
And we've talked about silver needles before. It's that for the white tea, it's that very new growth of the tea plant. And it's those buds that look like shoots.
Right.
It has the shape of a needle.
So
hence silver needles.
Right.
But with this one, what they do is after they've harvested all they want for the silver needles from the tea plants in this area, they let the tea plants grow a little bit more.
Okay.
And then they harvest that for the Mouton white tea. So it's the immature little leaves, the
Right.
two little leaves, and the bud.
Okay.
And
It's a lot of labor.
Boy, it is. That's
Yeah.
why it tends to be a little bit more expensive.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah.
But with this, it's also allowed to dry for a little bit, gets a little bit of oxidation.
Right. Okay.
So that's what gives it gives it a little bit more body, a little bit more color than what we might see in a typical white tea.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
So let's take a taste of this.
Let's do that.
So what are you tasting, Chris?
There's there's a lot of I guess vanilla
Yes.
in this.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. And then but white tea is very laid back. I mean, to begin with. So,
Right.
But there's no sense of grassiness with this at all.
No.
So I think it's a very refreshing. You should have a wedding while drinking this.
Right.
Right.
Right. So are you picking up anything else? The vanilla for sure.
Yeah. Maybe some kind of floral thing, but
Good.
a little bit.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. There's some rose petals in it.
Okay.
And there's also a little bit of lemon in it.
Okay. All right.
Just
Not a lot.
No,
though.
no. It's definitely not overpowering.
Right.
You're always interested in tea pairings. What
Well,
this would go with.
It is, yeah. And so, so nothing. I mean, this is really kind of like a white wine, very very laid back white wine kind of thing. So maybe a fish or maybe a Alfredo sauce or something like that.
Oh, I like where you're going
Okay.
with that.
Uh-oh.
I because I've seen it recommended with tilapia,
Okay.
kind of mild white.
Oh
fish,
yeah.
and also angel hair pasta
Okay.
with a bit of a Parmesan lemon zest sauce.
Okay. There you go. Yep. I get
Chris,
that,
I
yes.
would love that if you
Okay,
made that. You're
all
such a
right.
good cook.
Okay. Ooh, all right.
The challenge.
All right.
Throw the gauntlet
Very
down.
good.
Okay, and just a word on the brewing time, not more than 3 minutes, and we don't go to a full boil on the water, about 175.
So you're not overcooking the water.
We're not scorching,
okay.
right?
All right.
Okay, so we like the wedding tea. And I want to mention, too, with these canisters,
Yes.
it took me a while to figure these out.
Yes.
But there's a raised little button there. You just pop it like that.
Wow.
Open it. And then when you want to close it, you just pinch around the side.
You got your user guide here online.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So a week ago to this very day, we were in Manhattan
Right.
at the courthouse.
Oh, was there anything illegal we were doing, perhaps?
Not this time.
Okay. All right.
No, this was all to the book.
Okay.
We were in the Manhattan courthouse for Matt and Jenna's wedding ceremony.
Yes.
And this was quite an experience.
Yes. Yeah.
Loved it. They have a very good system.
Right.
Well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
But along with our little party,
Right.
there were a lot of other brides and grooms with their family. They're all dressed up. Everybody's in this really celebratory.
Yep. Well, it's Manhattan, and there's a lot of people to kind of get through this process, and it was pretty painless. I mean, insofar as that goes, no, it was it turned out to be a very moving ceremony, and it was a lot of fun.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was. It sort of was outside of what I thought it might be. It was wonderful.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So after the ceremony, we took some time for some pictures while we were in Manhattan.
Right.
Then we went to Brooklyn, right back, and we had the wedding dinner at a restaurant called Sailor.
Yes.
And Sailor is, it's amazing. The challenge here was they don't take reservations for parties over 4.
It was a small, like a lot of restaurants in Manhattan, or certainly in Brooklyn. There's not, half of it's kitchen and half of it's bar and half of it's dining. I mean, there's a lot going on.
That's right. That's right. It's very European.
Yes, you have 3 halves fitting into one small storefront.
Right.
Yes.
Except for the IHOP.
No, there you go. Yes, we did do an IHOP stop, and which was great. But
that was like a bus terminal in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, we'll stay classy.
Right.
We're back to Sailor.
Right.
And they only take reservations for parties up to 4.
Right.
We were 6.
Right.
So what Matt did was he appealed to their romantic side.
He pled his case, his romantic case.
He is that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he sent them an email saying this is
Yep.
he and Jenna's favorite restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It's their wedding day. They'd like to share it with their family.
Right.
And would they make an exception?
Mm-hmm. And they did.
It
Yep.
was wonderful.
Yeah.
And even for this small, busy restaurant,
Right.
we got our own little space.
We were tucked in a corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they even personalized the menus.
Yes.
That with Matt and Jenna's
How
name.
fun.
Yep. So that was just wonderful.
Yep.
Of course, that, as I mentioned, this is the highlight of the weekend.
Yes.
But we did work in a few other things while we were there.
Yes.
And we had afternoon tea.
Uh-huh.
And Matt and Jenna have had afternoon tea with us quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're seasoned. But when we go to New York, we usually have afternoon tea in Manhattan.
Right.
But this time we were in Brooklyn.
Yes.
And the name's going to give it away.
Okay.
Brooklyn High Low.
Okay.
Okay.
And we were there.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And it doesn't have the kind of the traditional advertising.
No. So it was. What was it called? The Tiki.
Yes, exactly right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
The manager calls it a tiki.
Right.
Because there's not a whole lot of signage.
Right. You have to know what you're looking for.
Exactly. You really do.
I mean, there's not exactly a password to get in, but you gotta look for it.
You do. And this is as the owner has said, they don't advertise so much, but it's all word of mouth.
Right.
And in today's world, word of mouth can mean Instagram.
Well, of course it does.
And that's how I found out about it.
Yep.
But back to what you're talking about with the speakeasy. Yeah, you really have to be looking for this place because it's on this just a stone's throw from a busy intersection in Brooklyn.
Right.
You open the door, you walk in, and you're just
it's you're kind of going from chaotic outside to
exactly a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Has this lovely plush antique furniture.
Right.
They have vintage china.
Right.
And one thing that I value the older I get, it's pretty quiet.
You could hear people talk.
Nice. And so in our little group, and there's 5 of us,
we're so old.
We are. But it was nice not to hear, and then not this crazy blaring music.
Right.
But it was really wonderful, and I met the manager, and she took us back to, they have another little room in the back, which they call their garden room.
Right.
Very pretty,
Yep.
and I think I'd go there the next time.
Yep.
And the highlights for us, though, I think when we talk collectively as a group, what we really liked. We liked the scones.
Yes.
They were warm and out of the oven. And we really liked the desserts.
Yes. Yep.
They had a chocolate mousse.
And everybody stopped talking while they were eating their mousse.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
We were pretty engaged in that.
Yeah.
Also, macaroons. I usually don't like them
Yep.
too much, but this one was honestly the best one I've ever had.
Yeah, it was. They can be kind of. So to me, it's kind of a texture thing,
right?
And this was pretty good.
It really was, and I had a chocolate mint one.
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay.
And if you want to hear more about Brooklyn High-Low, that's in our blog this week. So
be there.
But we started thinking about the tea sandwiches because we
Right.
were raving so much about we always
Right.
talk about the scones and desserts.
Right.
But it got us thinking, what really makes a good afternoon tea sandwich?
And we're going to go there.
We are going to go there. Something we're going to sink our teeth into.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
So first the bread. And dry bread isn't the goal.
No.
The tea sandwich bread should be soft, slightly moist to complement the filling. Okay? And if it's dry, it could signal that it was prepared too far in advance.
Yeah. And it kind of, I don't know, overpowers not the right word, but it really subdues the flavor of whatever is in it, I think.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That sets the tone.
Right.
For the sandwich.
Yeah.
And
we have high standards.
We do have high standards. So ideally, you'd like to prepare the sandwich as close as you can to serving time.
Right.
But, that's not always practical. So you can revert to that old trick of placing them in the refrigerator and placing a damp cloth.
Very damp.
Or
Yep. No, or slightly damp, I guess. I don't know.
You're going to get soggy tea sandwiches. Or a paper towel. Right. So, also, Martha Stewart weighs in on this.
Oh, I love Martha Stewart weighing in.
I do too. You always want to adhere to what she says.
That's
so
right.
What she says is use a fluffy pre-sliced sandwich bread as the canvas. That's poetry.
It is.
Martha never disappoints.
No.
So you use that as the canvas for your finger sandwiches. This is not the time for homemade sourdough or brioche.
Oh, brioche.
Brioche.
Brioche makes an appearance here again.
Yes. We talked about brioche in our one of our July podcasts.
Right.
We were talking about a famous queen who has this quote that really is said to have been translated to "Let them eat brioche."
Except
we would amend that.
That's right.
We would add, "Let them eat brioche, but not at afternoon tea."
Wow. We went a long way for that, didn't we?
We did. Right. Okay. So when you think of a traditional afternoon tea sandwich, what first comes to mind?
Well, there's the the cucumber sandwich thing. That's in every tea place that you go to. There's a cucumber sandwich.
There is, and some do it the very traditional way. Some put a little twist on it. But that is the most, I think, iconic.
Which, if you think about it, is kind of an odd thing to put in a sandwich, and I'm sure there's a story to this.
There is. So the cucumber sandwich became popular during Victorian times.
Okay.
And at this time, British colonists in India, to cope with the heat, they would eat these cucumber sandwiches and then accompany it with a cup of hot tea.
Nice.
Okay. And that was, again, to sort of cope with this heat.
Hydration.
Exactly. Nice. And you know what? They were really onto something because, and I have to read this from the American Chemical Society. They say, the scientists say, that a cucumber sandwich is the best thing to eat to regulate body temperature and avoid dehydration in a heat wave.
That's a bold statement.
It is a bold statement. And to continue, they say it even works better if you add a cup of tea with it.
Oh, man.
So these colonists, in that respect, kind of knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, for us, we don't get a whole lot of heat waves in Michigan.
No.
And certainly as we're going into this time of year.
Right.
But if we do, we should have, kind of make it fun. We'll have cucumber sandwiches, some hot tea, and hopefully some working air conditioning.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
All right. So these cucumber sandwiches really took off in Victorian times. And, of course, Victorian times when afternoon tea came about.
Right.
So this was a favorite of the aristocracy, the elites, because, it worked well for their routine.
Yeah, their lifestyle.
Yeah. During the day, it was just something to kind of...
Yeah, keep the lights on.
Right. They didn't need anything because the cucumber sandwich is very light. It's not terribly nutritious.
Right.
But it was enough for them until dinner came.
Okay.
Because they didn't have these busy lifestyles where they needed some high calories.
Yeah. They were just oppressing the lower class. That's all.
That's all.
You don't need a whole lot of energy for that, I guess.
I think you're right.
Okay.
So cucumbers then were just part of society and shows up in an Oscar Wilde play.
Oh.
The Importance of Being Earnest.
All right.
Cucumber sandwich.
A starring guest role.
All
right.
So he has a character named Algernon, and he requests that a bunch of cucumber sandwiches get made in advance of his aunt coming to visit. But you know what?
What?
He eats them all before she gets there.
What a plot twist.
Yeah, you didn't see that coming, did you?
No.
Okay.
No.
But how do you feel about cucumbers?
I wouldn't go out of my way to, unless we're going to a tea or something like that, and then that's there, so you got to eat it. But yeah, that's where I am on tea cucumber sandwich. Kind of meh.
Okay. Well, then you have some good company
Yeah.
with the 18th century British author Samuel Johnson.
He has something to say about this?
He does. He says a cucumber should be well sliced, dressed with pepper and vinegar, and then thrown out.
Okay.
All right.
That seems extreme, but okay.
Okay.
All right.
So getting now to what makes a great cucumber sandwich. Okay, is according to the Telegraph, they say, here's their recipe for a traditional British cucumber sandwich.
Here we go.
Slice juicy portions of cucumber, gently dried of excess water. Sprinkle with salt and a dash of lemon.
Okay.
And serve between 2 triangular slices of light buttered bread.
Okay.
Crust off.
Okay.
No mayo.
Oh, okay. All right.
And perhaps a little drizzle of olive oil.
Okay.
And they say it's the fresh, zingy taste of English summertime contained in a single bite.
I believe it.
It's a lot of pressure.
I know.
For a little sandwich.
I know. All right.
Okay. So it's still the staple of afternoon tea. And Queen Elizabeth, she likes her cucumber sandwich with a little bit of mint.
Oh, mint? Oh.
Okay. So how about that? There's another unexpected delight.
Okay.
So speaking of the tea sandwiches and the Queen, do you know what her favorite afternoon tea sandwich is?
You're going to tell me.
I am going to tell you.
All right.
Jam pennies.
Oh, yeah.
Jam pennies.
Who doesn't know that? I didn't know that.
We learned that from the author of this book.
All right, here we go.
I don't know if you can see that.
Okay.
It's my autographed copy.
All right.
Darren McGrady.
Oh, Darren McGrady. Nice guy.
A very nice guy.
Yeah, we've met him.
We have met him.
Yeah.
So he was the chef to Queen Elizabeth for a time and also Princess Di when she lived in Kensington Palace.
All right.
And when Princess Diana died, Darren moved to Texas.
Right.
And he started a catering company.
Right.
Very successful. But he was a keynote speaker at a foodie festival in Traverse City.
That's right.
Oh, about 10 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And you and I got to meet him. I interviewed him.
Right.
I was writing for an online newspaper at the time. And a really interesting guy.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that, I should also say that he shows up. You'll see him occasionally on national news programs.
Yeah.
Like when the Coronation, he comes on as a celebrity chef.
Right.
And he was also, a fictionalized version of him shows up in that movie Spencer.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Spencer.
Yeah.
I think that was 2020.
Uh-huh.
That is the movie where Kristen Stewart plays Princess Di.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. We did not love that one.
That was a little overwrought. But he shows up there.
Right. Okay.
And
his character does.
His character does, right.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's a part where he's interacting with her. And what he told us, he shared with us, was that she one time came to him and she said, I'm going to take my kids to McDonald's.
Yes.
And he said, oh, Diane, don't do that. Yeah. I can make them something really nutritional and they'll love it. And she said, no, that's not the point.
Right.
I want them to experience something normal.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, so back to the Queen's favorite tea sandwich. It is jam pennies.
Yep.
3 simple ingredients. Bread, butter, and jam. And they would cut the bread in circle shapes, cookie cutter. And the name came from...
Oh, the English penny?
The English penny, the old English penny.
It was kind of a larger thing.
Right. And this was something that she was served from a little girl, and it always stayed as one of her favorites. I know, and that's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have a favorite tea sandwich?
Oh, me, McGrady's going to get after me, but I kind of like a quarter pounder with cheese for tea.
Still?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, maybe without onions.
Without onions, currently, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
There's our reference to current events.
Yes, okay.
All right.
So with, I talked about the movie Spencer, but there's another movie I'd like to talk about.
Yes.
Safety Not Guaranteed.
Wow, that's quite a diversion.
Kind of a journey, a travel.
Yes.
And the movie stars Aubrey Plaza.
Yes.
People will recognize her from
Parks and Rec
and White Lotus.
Yes.
She has sort of that deadpan delivery.
Yep. I love. She's anything she's in, I'll watch.
Oh, I agree. She is fun to watch.
Right.
So this is a storyline about a guy who's planning to do some time travel.
Yes.
And Aubrey's with her colleagues, they're newspaper
right.
writers.
Right.
and they're investigating this classified ad that this gentleman put out.
Right.
And he wants somebody to go with him for some time travel.
Yes.
And so this is a movie, and he wants to go back because he wants to change something that happened when he was a young man.
Uh-huh.
And it gets all the journalists kind of thinking about what they would do if they went back.
Right.
Okay. And this now is a musical. And this month it debuted at the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
Yes.
Musical based on the movie.
And it was great.
It was.
Well, and we were talking about this. So, we enjoy, going to theater here in the Midwest. And, it's generally very good talent that you're watching. It's very enjoyable. Then you go to New York City or Brooklyn, and then you realize there's this whole other level of talent, and that's where they're at.
Exactly.
No diss on, anybody else, but it's like, oh, these guys are pretty good.
Oh, they're amazing. Yeah. It's just, and even if the storyline wavers a little bit, they're just so, it's so well acted and performed. So yes. So is there, so we'd highly recommend that, but is there anything if you were going to go back in time, is there anything? Well,
see, I'm going to maybe a little different answer. If I would go back in time, I'd go back to like when you and I met. Because that's, because I think people they want to fix a problem, or they've made a mistake. You know what? You're going to make a mistake. Yeah. You're just going to make another mistake if you fix the one. So that was a great experience and time, and I would do that again. See?
Well, you win.
Okay. It's not a contest.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you, dear. I wasn't expecting that.
All right.
But yes, I think we all have kind of these things. I would also do that.
Yes.
But I wouldn't discount maybe going back to the time of Jane Austen.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe in Bath where we stayed.
Yeah, you'd be a time tourist. You're not fixing anything.
No, right.
Yeah.
And I would hope that we get to be bumped upstairs. Okay. Maybe not just in the lower level.
She'd say, "Who the heck are you?"
So, okay, how are we doing on time?
We have about 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. Okay. Right. Well, just real quick.
Yeah.
I want to mention that we have been to a lot of tea rooms in New York, and there's so many more on our list.
Yes.
But I looked at this, and there are tons of lists that say here are the must.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Must. Yep. But a lot of them overlap because there's a lot of great ones that are shared.
Right.
So Vogue, February 2024 of this year, they put out 20.
Okay.
We've been to 6.
Uh-huh.
Palm Court at the Plaza Hotel last year, Brooklyn High Low, Lady Mendel's, Tea and Sympathy, St. Regis.
Yes.
And Lauderay.
Oh, yeah.
And Lauderay was the one that had the Meghan Markle connection.
Yeah, connection. Yes.
Because just before we had been there, she was there for a shower.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't her shower.
Right. Yeah.
But I was asking our waiter. So Lauderay's it's a French-based tea room.
Right.
And they have one in New York.
Right.
So I asked our waiter, I said, "Did you see Meghan Markle?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And I said, "What was she like?" "Oh, she's okay."
Yeah.
Is she as pretty as she looks on TV? He said, yeah. What do you want? What's your order?"
Yeah.
So that was about the most New York French experience.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Nice.
Okay.
All right.
So I think, do I hear that sound?
I think we do. Where are you? Here we go.
Okay. I would like to thank On TV Studios for having us here, for all our listeners and watchers.
Yep.
To my co-host, Chris Gully, who, I would journey anytime with you. So check out our blog.
Yep.
And for everyone else, please stay tuned.
Excellent. Okay.